I'm actually jealous that Gianni has a Game Boy.
I
want
still
a
have my
fucking Game
original.
Boy.
You have a fucking PC with a perfectly good emulator on it.
Yeah, but it's not a Game Boy.
It's not the same.
It's
not
not
for
the
the
same.
It's not the same.
What's up, people? Welcome to the GSC Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lauchi, joined as always by Johnny,
Hello, chums.
Jamie C,
Hello.
and Gianni.
Hello.
How's it going, peeps?
Lovely.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, well, you can tell me what you've been up to this week then. It's not quite been a week, but close enough. Johnny, you can go first, dude. What have you been up to?
Bit of Trials, guys.
Trials, man.
That theme tune.
I'm
Stuff
so
in it.
jealous right now. I can't believe it came out a week later on PC. I pre-ordered that game at the end of last week's podcast. I was all hyped up. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do some videos on Trials, guys. Look for them in the week." And then as soon as the podcast finished and I check, I'm like, "Oh, it's not out for another week." Oh.
Yeah.
So how are you
Yeah,
guys
I
finding
think
it?
that.
You've been really enjoying it, yeah?
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely Trials.
That's a
It's,
good thing, man.
Yeah, so everything you love and hate about Trials, it's definitely there. The hard tracks are just ridiculous, some of them. But still fun, and yeah, I'm liking it.
How are your times compared to the other two?
Fuck off.
I just
I
went on a
believe I
little
shall to
spree.
answer that one, Ben.
No, I was just I was playing earlier and just got tons of golds on the first couple of challenges and stuff. It's fun. Other than Trials, though, I'm sure the other guys will talk about that. Been playing a little bit of Terraria on the Vita, which is very good. This new update had tons of new stuff, new bosses, new monsters, new weapons and armor and shit.
Man,
It's fun.
I own Terraria on PC, but I've never played it. It's one of those games that I picked up in a sale, but never played.
I thought you said you didn't like it.
I don't like the look of it. That's why I've never played it.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
It's-
What's its selling points?
It is just a 2D Minecraft, basically, but more emphasis on combat, really, rather than building. Because building, obviously, you're restricted to a 2D plane, so you can't really build that, much of elaborate things and houses and castles and shit. But the fighting's fun, and you get a lot of crazy weapons and items like jetpacks and laser beams and weird stuff. And there's bosses as well. There's actually bosses to fight, whereas Minecraft there isn't. It's fun. It's a fun little game. It works beautifully on the Vita. They've done a really good job porting it over.
Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah,
Is that you done?
that's me done then.
What? Jamie, what have you been up to, dude?
I guess Trials is a given, isn't it?
Do you guys just want to
Yeah,
get the trials out of your
established
system
that.
now? Eh?
I'm not as good as these guys. It's problematic, but do you know what? It's still an enjoyable game. I have gone through the hard tracks and shouted at the TV, but you
Yeah.
get a bronze for finishing the hard levels, so that's something.
It's a medal.
You get an also ran. You don't come first or second, but you're in there. But no, it's like Johnny said. Trials is Trials, and you know what you're getting yourself in for if you've even played it for 5 minutes, one of the previous installments. But yeah, I think I've said all I want to say about Trials. But other than that, I played through the Jack trilogy.
Did you?
Really?
Yeah, it just got released on the Vita this last couple of weeks, didn't it? Or something? But I had it on PlayStation Plus from the PS3.
Oh yeah.
Every game in that trilogy had a game-breaking moment for me that I just put. I'd go through one at a time,
Yeah.
and then I had to delete that game, tell it to fuck off, and go on to the next one. I really struggled. I struggled with all three of them.
Name them.
So in the first game,
Yeah.
there's an issue where you're fishing,
Okay.
and it just controls so poorly that I just couldn't get past it. I just thought, fuck this, I've had enough.
Cool. So that was the first one struck off. What happened in the second?
And that was about 2 hours into gameplay, I think. That was that one done. The second one, probably about 2 or 3 hours into gameplay as well. There's a bit where you have to deliver some cargo on a vehicle, on a hovercraft.
Yeah.
You just keep getting shot out of the sky. I couldn't do anything about it. I was done. I just couldn't give a fuck.
Scratch
I
that
was
one
done.
list.
So that was
Right.
done. Yeah. So the third one, I think by that point I was probably just pissed off. I can't remember now. It's amazing to see though where these companies go. You know,
Well,
that's Naughty Dog,
Jack,
right?
Jack was Naughty Dog, yeah.
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 So like their roots, they'll never forget their roots. But then look at them now, like the detail. Like you can see every pube on Joel's testicles now. But back then, like
Just one
Jack,
block.
you couldn't even make out if that was a nut or if his hand was coming out of his pants or something. I don't know. But they tried some. Did you play the Jack trilogy?
I love
Never
them.
played any of them.
Who said they
I
loved
was
them?
a Ratchet fan.
I love them.
See, I think I prefer Ratchet. Probably.
See,
That's
yeah, I'm a
Insomniac,
Jack person.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Who
See,
went
I
on
would
to
pick
do
Jack over.
Existence.
Fair enough.
See, I grew up when these games were important and they were still worth their salt. Like when Spyro came out on the PlayStation 1 and Crash Bandicoot. When these games were being released, that was their limitations and that was their worth. But to still release those games on PS2 and then even port them HD to PS3, it just didn't feel like it was justified or even made its worth.
How was the actual HD collection? Because I was quite impressed by Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection. Was it the same sort of thing, like just tarted up a little bit, or?
But those games already looked good, didn't they, for PS2?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because Shadow of the Colossus is the best PS2 game. Hands
it
down.
is. Yeah.
But
I disagree.
shut up. That's a conversation for another day. But no, it like in terms of like you say tarting them up, I don't think they improved massively. Because how do you make a square look nicer?
Well, I don't know. The HD remaster of Final Fantasy X is supposed to be really nice, and the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remaster they did look really nice.
But they were already looking nice, weren't they?
Kingdom Hearts didn't look that great, man. The first one, it looks a lot nicer in the 1.5 remix.
Little
than it
square
did.
bots. Depends how much focus they want to put on it. I just guess they changed the contrast settings. Like I don't know. Something to make it look a bit shinier.
Wait, you sure this isn't Bioshock Infinite all over again?
Yeah, something like that. But no, it's like I said, growing up with platformers that did this already, it just kind of wasted my time.
Did you watch your Fargo?
I did watch Fargo.
I haven't watched it yet, but tell me what happened in the first episode because I'll probably be watching it later tonight.
Fuck me, it's so you've got Martin Freeman, Billy Bob Thornton, and what's his name now? Colin Hanks is in there as well.
Yeah.
All just putting in a great performance for the first episode. Now it's an hour and a half long,
Yeah.
give or take the adverts obviously, and it does take the first 20-30 minutes to really establish its grounds. But then the rest of that episode, I was on the edge of my seat. Everything was coming at me like full blast, and then it still managed. Shut up. It still managed to throw the humor in there as well. But then they showed the teaser for episode 2, and you just don't know how it could get better. But then it looks like it's going to get better, and it's really, really playing out well. And it starts the same way the film does, just like a little bit of a tip of the hat there and stuff. But no, that was definitely worth the time, and I'm going to keep that series up.
It's airing every Sunday or Monday.
On Channel 4 Sunday nights, yeah. So you should be able to catch it on like the 4OD or
online somewhere.
4/7. We've got that other channel called 4/7, haven't we, where they show the best stuff of the last 7 days.
Oh yeah.
Or the interwebs, because that's where everybody just wanks off Game of Thrones these days.
That's where I've been watching Game of Thrones, man. Even though I have the channel it's on, I keep missing it the night.
Yeah, but if you have the channel it's on, you have to share that room with the family, whereas when you watch it online upstairs, you can wank freely on your own.
That's true, man. It's true.
Cool.
Cool. Gianni, talk to me about what you've been up to, dude.
Go on, that'll do.
What?
Talk to me.
right.
What?
It went a bit quiet. What have I been up to? Trials. Just trying to beat Jamie's times, really. Mercenary Kings. I actually haven't played anything new, I don't think. No. Hotline Miami?
Yes.
Retro City Rampage?
Right.
Yeah.
I saw you tweet about Hotline Miami. Explain yourself, mister. Come on.
It's... At times it feels like half-minute hero. But the amount I kept dying, it was I don't know. It's difficult to know what's going on, and it's very trial and error. I don't think the graphics help.
Hotline Miami, I like to think of it as like a Grand Theft Auto flavored puzzle game.
Exactly the words that were going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that game is, man. It is a puzzle game, even though you're beating people to death. It's a puzzle in figuring out how you go about getting around all the rooms and taking everyone out and stuff, man. I think it's really good, and it's got a banging soundtrack as well, man.
I couldn't get used to the controls, to be fair. That's what was driving me nuts.
You're playing on the Vita, right?
Yeah, on the Vita, yeah.
Did you get crossbuy though for it?
Yeah,
I think you do.
Yeah, imagine it. Yeah,
It might be worth
PlayStation
might be
Plus,
worth giving it a go on the PlayStation 3 and see how you find it.
Maybe it means having to get a PS3.
But I was really worried then. I thought, hang on, come on, that was a great game. I played that over winter, and I got it really cheap, like £2 in the sale or something. I just couldn't believe it. I thought it was a fantastic puzzle game.
Yeah, I mean it's got some nice bits to it, but I don't know. I think I was just getting so fed up of like I'd do one thing and then someone else would come in and shoot me, and then I'll shoot him, and then 4 other people get alerted, and then I couldn't get over. And I was getting a bit fed up of doing the same thing over and over again, which is quite ironic because that's pretty much all I'm doing with Trials. But I don't know. I just didn't love it.
Fair enough. What do you think of Retro? It's at your own page.
I've really gotten on with that. But then it's GTA with a bunch of references, really. So it was always going to be a winner. And I have struggled with the control system on that. I don't know how I like to control the cars. I don't know if you've come across that.
Yeah, it's a bit unwieldy.
But no, otherwise it's just so full of references. It's just crazy. It's just everywhere you turn. So
It's like Mario pipes and Sonic backgrounds, isn't there? I thought it was pretty cool.
Did I see an MGS sneaking bit as well, like the old NES MGS games?
Yeah.
Little reference to that in there.
And there's there's just tons of stuff, absolutely tons of it. So that's out of the two, I'd have to say go Retro City Rampage, especially if you're a fan of GTA 1 and 2. I think you'd be, fans of the series would be really like that, even though it's got nothing to do with Rockstar. But yeah, no. So that's basically what I've been doing.
You bought
a great deal.
You bought Guacamelee, or re-downloaded it rather.
I re-downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet. That's going to be next week.
Okay.
That's free on PlayStation Plus at the moment, right?
Don't know if it's been taken off again now.
Yeah, it's been taken off. That was like a few months ago. 2 months ago?
Yeah.
I think I need to buy that game because it looks really nice, man.
There's the PS4 version coming.
Okay. Sorted then. I'll be getting it on PS4.
PS4 version?
Yeah, apparently there's an Ultimate Edition coming out, so it's probably worth holding on.
Cool. I haven't really done much this week. I'm so addicted to Final Fantasy 14. I just started hitting the raid content. Now, I don't know, you guys have played MMOs, right?
Yeah.
Have you done raids in other MMOs?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I haven't, so this is all completely new to me. But there was like 24-man raids or something we were doing. And it was getting...
a guild?
Yeah, but our guild is kind of like our own little thing.
Okay.
There's only 8 of us in our guild, so it's not like a big raiding guild or anything. We were just like pugging through the party selector or the party finder system. But yeah, it was actually really fun. We did like 2 runs, and this guy was streaming it on Twitch, and then like getting really mad when no one was listening to him. I guess he thought like streaming it on Twitch made him like the raid leader or something. But
right.
it was pretty damn fun, man. Just trying to get geared up so that I can do the other in-game content. I've never been this enamored with an online game, man.
Yeah, with that in mind, I'm actually quite surprised that the 3 times I've logged on this week, you haven't been on.
Because I'm not playing consecutively. I'm not like fucking 20 hours a day or whatever playing it. I'm just logging in, doing like every now and then like little bits, man. Doing my dailies and stuff to stay on top of gear and shit is all I'm really doing. Like that's pretty much what I've been doing with that. I picked up Riviera again as well on the Vita. I don't know whether I spoke about this last week or whether I bought it after last week's podcast. Did I speak? Yeah,
I don't
Riviera.
remember.
Which is a really nice little game. I was just browsing the PlayStation Store on my Vita, saw it there. I think it was like £13, and just remembered how much fun I had playing that game before. Decided to pick it back up again. It's a really nice little like visual novel / JRPG sort of fusion game. It's really nice, man. The only thing that's kind of weird about it is it's pretty inconsistent with its stats and stuff. So.
Right.
Like, the way you get better is to skill up using items. So the more you use, like, an item in battle, the more you skill up in it, and then when you max it, you get more HP and more stats and stuff. But there's also a lot of, like, random events that happen outside of battle, and there's no, like, free movement. It's really like a visual novel. You pick where you want to go and stuff, and then your characters go there. But then random stuff will happen where, like, you have to do, like, a little mini game. And if you pass the minigame, you might get something beneficial or nothing will happen. If you fail the minigame, though, you lose like 5% of your max HP and stuff.
Right, okay.
So, and that's permanent. There's no way to get that back. So you have to really be on your toes, otherwise you end up with like really underpowered characters.
It sounds a bit like Oregon Trail, kind of.
Kind of, actually. There's a similar sort of unpredictability to it, man. It's really nice. It's got a really decent story as well. You're like a fallen angel. Have to protect this world from the rest of the angels that want to destroy it. It's kind of bad.
And is this on Vita, you said?
Yeah, I'm playing it on the Vita. It's really nice, man. And just today, I started getting really into Rogue Legacy, man.
The game's fantastic.
Yeah, I played it for like 4 hours today, I think. Maybe a little bit less, 3 hours. Game is kicking my ass, but like I'm loving every second of it, man.
Yeah, really good.
Like I'm
playing
starting
on the PC, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just starting to get to the point where I'm good enough to go in with a certain objective in mind. Like, if I select a miner or whatever, I'm like, right, I need to go in, I need to earn enough money to get this from, like, the castle and stuff, and, like, actually pulling it off makes you feel awesome. I still haven't beat any bosses yet, though.
Okay.
I came so close to beating that first boss. You know the big eyeball?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I had it on one shot, right, and I jumped back down to the corner, and then the spike in the floor killed me. Rage, man. Just absolute
Such a good
crazy
game.
rage. Loving it though, really, really good fun. I just got the upgrade for the Shinobi, where it's like turn your Shinobi into a Hokage, believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. But that's pretty much all I've been doing, man. Let's move on with the show. I'm keeping that as a segue. That ain't getting cut. All right, the big topics this week, lads. The Game Boy. The Game Boy is 25 years old on a date that I didn't look up.
The 21st of April.
21st of April, which
Yeah.
was 2 days ago as of recording.
Which was my son's birthday.
Are you serious?
It's like we planned it.
I know. Of anyone,
Until that day.
it would be your son, man, that has a birthday on the anniversary of the Game Boy.
I just remember the day we got the birth certificate sorted, and like Lizzie had to double check it before it went to the doctors, and she had to cross out where I put Mario.
No, we're not calling him Mario.
So, to honour the fucking best handheld ever, after the Vita's better.
Oh, shut up!
Right, just saying, the Vita's better.
Thanks for
Right.
saying.
But the best handheld of my childhood, then, there you go.
Yes.
I wanted to just see what your favourite game was from the Game Boy, because everyone had a Game Boy. Like,
All right,
let's
first
joke
of all,
about-
what Game Boy did you have? Did you all have the brick?
I think I've had all of them. Yeah, I had the big grey brick to start with. Then I had the little yellow colour. Then I had like a crystal colour. And then I think I skipped Game Boy Advance and went straight to SP.
Uh,
Yeah, that's what I did.
I actually can remember when I got my Game Boy. Well, it was either 92 or 93, one of those Christmases. And the next Game Boy I got after that was the Advance, and I got that at launch. So I didn't want for any of the other Game Boys. I was so happy with when I got the original one. So
I didn't get rid of my original one when I upgraded to the colour.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying,
My
like, I was so
second-
happy with it that I never wanted any of the colours or the pockets. I didn't even think about it, which is pretty cool.
I have such fond memories of the Game Boy, man. My uncle was in hospital when I was really young, right? Like
Fond
really
memories.
young, like 5. No, seriously.
Fond memories.
When you're like 5, you don't know any better, man. But what I did know is that my uncle had his Game Boy in hospital with him.
You
So when we
robbed
used
your uncle when he was in hospital.
I was
Is that
5 years old, right? This is a good memory for me. Stop making it seem bad, all right?
You fucking jerk.
I went to the hospital to see my uncle whilst he was in there for his operation and stuff, and I got to play his Game Boy, and it was fucking awesome. I'd never played a Game Boy before. The only console I had at home at that point, I think, was an Amiga, which doesn't even really count as a console.
What was you playing? Tetris?
What?
No, he had this firefighter game. I can't remember what it was called, but it's like run upstairs, like put out the fires and rescue people and stuff. It was amazing, man. I really, really liked it.
Was it the backdraft game to the movie?
Probably not. I think it was a legit game, not a licensed
Movie
game.
tie.
There's my dad was telling me a story years ago about this. Like the year before I got mine, because he worked at the airport, he found one. Someone had left it in the waiting area, and because no one knew what it was, they had to call security, and they ended up having to like destroy it.
Get bomb disposal in to get rid of a Game Boy.
A Game Boy because they had no idea what it was at the time. It was like and actually, I don't think it was even released over here yet. So it must have been a Japanese one. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Like fucking load up a Ninja Gaiden game. I'll dispose of the console for you.
What about you two, Johnny, Jamie? You got any standout memories of the Game Boy?
Yeah, my nan bought me a turquoise Game Boy Color for my birthday.
Nice.
It's pretty good. I remember because she bought it me, but with them no games because I had games at home and I was like, oh yeah, sweet, I've got it. And she's like, oh, so how are the games on it? Because I was like, opened it up and took it out. Oh yeah, it doesn't have any games. They're all at home. And she was just seemed to be like, what? It doesn't come with games? Like, yeah, this is it. Yeah, my favorite game is Zelda, Link's Awakening.
Your favorite? This is your favorite game?
My favorite
on the
DS
entire
game.
platform, yeah.
Sorry, on the
Game
old
Boy.
Game Boy. Yeah, on the entire platform. I think I just put so many hours into that, and I'm a huge fan of Zelda anyway. And,
Was that your
yeah.
first? Was that your introduction to the series?
No, it was. I actually played it after I played. What's the one on the?
Link to the Past?
Yeah, exactly. A Link to the Past. I played it after that. It was just, yeah, and all the references to Mario and stuff like the chain chomps in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty jokes.
The good
And
bit, I
Yoshi.
think- Yeah.
See,
It's
I-
really good.
I didn't play that game until late in the Game Boy's life cycle, man. I think I'd already played Ocarina of Time before I played that.
Right.
And all I saw with it were like glaring inconsistencies with the other games. Like
Really?
there's some things that just aren't right in that game, man. It just doesn't
I love the,
feel right.
You're
There
not
was,
what's
like-
right with that game.
There were some side-scrolling moments as well, and you got like, Rock's Cape where you could jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I think
thought it
that
was
game kind of fit in more with the Seasons games, the Capcom Seasons ones they did.
I really enjoyed Seasons and Ages.
And they were
Yeah.
Game Boy Color ones, weren't they? So
Yeah.
to me, it feels more like one of those.
Yeah, I love those games. I was actually on holiday. We went camping somewhere I had Seasons, I think, and I just played that the whole entire time.
Wasn't this the time where your friend Anthony had the other one,
Yes,
and then you just
Um,
traded when you were finished?
exactly, because there was like a little secret ending if you play through both, because it's
Yeah.
sort of linked together, and
Mm.
that was actually really cool, and they were good games.
See, people complain all the time about like Nintendo releasing 2 different versions of each game that they do and stuff, like Pokemon and stuff. But that's half the fun, man, of finishing your game and then trading it with your friend who has the other version.
And at least with Origins and Ages, they were different games. Like you had different sort of overworlds and dungeons.
Yeah.
And different things. So they weren't the same in any sort of respect. So that was good.
What about you, Jamie? You got a Game Boy memory?
Yeah, I mean the actual console. I remember getting the original for Christmas. I can't remember if it would have been in the year it came out or the year after. Because there's a massive discrepancy between launches. It was like I found out it's like April '89 it came out in Japan. We didn't get it over here till September '90. I can't remember. I might have been 4. I might have been 5. I got it with Tetris though for Christmas, and I remember my
Yeah.
uncle getting it as well. And because you could link up as well and play 2-player if you had that cable with it.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
link cables, man.
Linking
Didn't
it up.
all of them came with it, didn't it? Because I seem to remember having it for ages not knowing what it was for, and then Pokemon came out, and I was like, oh my god, this makes sense.
But yeah, if we were to talk about a favourite game, I guess you would guess it's a Mario one.
Yeah, I would guess yours is
Six golden
probably.
coins.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Super Mario
that.
Land 2, the 6 golden coins, is
Playing that the other day.
still a great game.
Mm.
I mean, that didn't come out till like 93 though, so I was a lot older by that point.
Yeah.
A lot older. I was still like 7 or 8, but that's still a standout Mario title for me. And again, where you talk about that Zelda game not quite fitting in with the series, the Super Mario Land games were quite far out of there with the Mario.
Yeah, there were certain things different with. Didn't they have unique power-ups that weren't in the other games?
They had
They have the bunny hat.
carrot. That's the
Yeah,
one.
the
Yeah.
carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's never come back, has it?
Oh yeah, in Mario 64, it was the.
Was it?
Wait, no, that's the winged cap. Sorry. Yeah, no. The
What about
bunny
the,
hat.
what about the
did the
cape?
same thing,
the
though,
superhero
didn't it?
cape, whatever.
Was that in
Is
it?
that in there?
No.
Are you sure that? I
No.
think that was from there.
I know
Because
Wario's from there, isn't it? That's
The
where
Wario,
Yeah.
Super
That's where
Mario Land 3 was the Wario Land game, so that was the spin-off.
Yeah.
I know, but
The next
Six
But-
year.
golden coins is when
But
he
you see,
first
yeah,
joined.
you see Wario in the 6 golden coins, don't you? He
Yeah.
takes your
He's the boss,
castle, and you have to, yeah.
So there's no Bowser.
Yeah, that's a good game. That is.
it's pretty damn good, man. Gianni, what's your favorite Game Boy game of all time?
Well, actually, I was thinking about 6 golden coins, but it's got to be Tetris for me. Even now, like, I bought the yellow color the other month, and I just spend all my time playing Tetris. It's just so addictive, and it's just got memories of like me and my family just fighting over whose turn was it on the Game Boy, and that's including my mum and dad. So yeah, it has to be that. And I suppose it made you think as well. It's a little bit different.
I'm actually impressed that you've gone for Tetris, man. Tetris is
Yeah.
such a classic game. So many people overlook it, man.
Well, it's one of those where everyone's played it in some shape or form, but the original, and this is, I mean, anybody who gets nostalgic will say it, but the original Tetris was the best. It was just so simple, and all the other ones seemed to complicate everything a bit.
It was
further.
also one hell of a killer app, man. That's
Mm.
it, like the original Tetris sold ridiculous amounts. I don't know whether it was bundled with the Game Boy when it first came out,
It may have been actually.
which
I believe
could,
so.
could
Like-
could go towards that. But I mean, that's why Tetris is so popular, because the install base for the Game Boy was huge, and almost everyone that owned a Game Boy had a copy of Tetris. Man,
Yeah.
awesome game.
It was the game that my nan loved Tetris. Bless her.
Really?
She was, yeah. It was the first time I'd seen. It's gonna sound strange, but it was the first time I'd seen a female play a game,
Wow.
because
Actually, I probably agree with you on that.
I wouldn't have had any siblings at that young of an age, and like I said, my uncle got a DS as well, and like I had another uncle who was really into gaming. But yeah, like my nan would have been the first, that I'd seen play a game of some shape, and she loved it. She
That's
couldn't get her off
awesome,
of it.
man.
But we talk about recently we talk about mobile phone games and things like that. Well, Tetris was that for its age, wasn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't if a game like Tetris was to come again, it wouldn't be on a dedicated games console. It would be a mobile game. I mean, arguably, Candy Crush has the same sort of appeal, right? Even though it has all the bastard microtransactions and stuff. It's probably on. I don't like comparing Candy Crush to Tetris, but it's the most similar thing I think at the moment.
Yeah, it's a fair.
It's probably most
comparison.
relevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
That
that's
one
like I don't like
goes,
comparing the 2000s to the 80s, but the 80s was a better time and things get shitter.
What?
We had hair back in the 80s.
I have no idea where you're trying to take this podcast, but I'm going to tell you about my favorite game on the Game Boy. It's nothing special. I wish I had something more interesting to say, but it was Pokemon Red, man. Pokemon Red like changed everything for
Think
me,
you
man.
get in all
did.
specific reds.
Yeah, Pokemon Red is the one that I owned, man. I did have blue because fuck blue. I had
Not red
Blastoise on
and
the
blue,
front,
no,
not
I
Charizard.
had both. Shut up.
It is a big point though. You can be specific with that because you do get the Pokemon exclusivity. But
I suppose, yeah, you either blue or red, weren't you? Well, most people.
you either want Meowth or Growlithe or whatever.
I don't even remember. I know Red had Scyther and Blue had Pinsir, That was the only like differentiator I knew, man, and I preferred Scyther, so I went that way. But Pokemon Red, man, what a game! That was the
Yeah.
first like JRPG I ever played, right? And it like sparked my love for the entire genre. Like now, I'm such a massive JRPG fan. I play almost all of them that get released, man, and it's all stemmed from Pokemon. And there's so many like memories that I have of Pokemon, man. Like sitting out as a kid, yeah. You know, like in the middle of the summer holidays when you're a kid, you got like 6 weeks off, and you get all the stuff that you want to do out of the way in like the first 2 weeks. Like all the bike rides and day trips and stuff are all out of the way, and then everyone's just trying to think of stuff to do. So you're all just sort of sat around in a field or whatever, and I was just sat there playing Pokemon, man. Like grinding up my Charizard. I got into like level 76 or something, and I hadn't saved in ages. And this kid was like, I don't know, just like being a prick, turned off my Game Boy.
No.
Right? Oh my god, I lost like 25 levels, man, from Charizard. Like,
How do you not have a criminal record?
I cried, man. I was well upset. I was quite young, man.
That
He
kid
ate
would
him,
not
so
be
the
living.
evidence is gone.
I never forgot it though. That stuck with me all these years.
Traumatized.
Now you save after every level.
But there were so many really fun exploits for Pokemon Red as well, man. Like the rare candy cheat, everyone knew about that. But like the cloning Pokemon cheat as well, where you'd put your Pokemon in the box and then switch it off before it finished saying it was saving, and then you'd have one in your party and one in the box, so you could make really crazy imbalanced like teams. I love that game so much. I was all
Did you
about
know-
Pokemon Red as a kid.
Did you know you can actually catch Mew in that game?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually saw a video someone posted about it recently.
Yeah, because I think we were still at Game Station at the time. I tried it out, and it actually does work, which is pretty awesome. So all those theories about SSN and whatever, it turns out that it was actually you could actually get it. So interesting.
Oh man,
Did you ever get 151?
no, never,
150.
man, never.
You didn't.
I've never filled a Pokedex on any Pokemon game.
I managed to.
I don't know why, man, because I start getting into the groove of battles and stuff, and I start like really favoring certain Pokemon, and then I only really want to use them, and I can't be asked to go out and catch others. I just want to do the gyms and stuff and then get competitive.
The only thing with the first gen Pokemon is those back sprites were awful, weren't they? Even as
They
a
were so
kid, I
thick.
looked at Venusaur and thought, what the hell is that? It's a mess of pixels.
All
But
of
no,
the
yeah.
sprites were awful, man. I
No,
remember
no, the
Pikachu, yeah, when he used to like come up in the field, he used to look like a knockoff fair ride toy, man. Well good, man.
He's
the
like
coffin was upside down as
Yeah.
well. Couldn't even do the sprite art properly. Yeah, that game is fantastic.
Such a good game, man.
I actually had Yellow.
What was that?
I think Pokemon Yellow was my first Pokemon game.
Really?
That was
Yeah, it
Pikachu
was.
for the- wasn't
The
it?
people who had
amazing.
yellow, man, they were like the special people. Everyone
Yeah,
had Pokemon Red and Blue, and then like there was like the odd people that had yellow.
Is it bad
Like,
that I had?
weren't they?
What's
Yellow.
special about your game? Oh, fucking Pikachu follows me around. Like
That
that's
is
the only
pretty cool,
difference, really.
Yeah.
What were the other differences other than being able to start with Pikachu? Was that it?
Surf,
in colour?
didn't
Did he add Sir?
Colour.
What?
he? Pikachu could surf on a surfboard or something.
Yeah.
Johnny,
you
we're
could speak
relying,
to him
we're
and, like-
relying on you, Johnny.
I remember every time you spoke to your Pikachu, like a really crappy chiptune version of Pikachu would play, and it just absolutely sound awful, but it was pretty funny.
Mm.
Good game.
But they were-
Didn't even sound like a Pikachu, did it? It sounded more like pterodactyl porn.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Nobody Google pterodactyl porn.
It
Nobody.
Okay.
exists.
We'll put a link up.
Oh, it is fucking hilarious.
Who thinks of that shit? But what about Gold and Silver then? Because they were also were they the last ones? Or was
Oh
there...
crap! You just thrown a spanner in the works.
No,
they were
Gold-
fucking
Gold is-
huge.
Gold is my favorite Pokemon game.
Gold was good, but it as a
No,
game, it's better than Pokemon Red. But to
In
me,
every single way.
Pokemon Red just it was
Like no one
fun.
ever was.
It's a bit like I'm guessing it's the difference between like is Gears 1 and Gears 2 really. Yeah, I suppose that's fair because it was such an early one. Red and Blue were just like unbelievable, but then Gold, when you compare it to something like Gold, it's
I'll tell you
There
one thing I do appreciate in Gold to this day actually. I haven't played Pokemon Black and White 2, so I don't know about those. But Gold is the one that felt most like a sequel to Red. Like all the other games have all been pretty like individual and stuff. They're their own stories, but Gold felt like it followed on from Red really well.
Is it
When
Is
you
it 'cause it
complete
goes
Gold,
back?
and then you go back to Kanto,
Yeah,
first
yeah.
place. That blew my mind. Like going
Like,
back to the old game, and I
doing
thought,
all the
what?
gyms and like Gary's the gym leader in Viridian, right?
Yeah, really
Spoilers.
cool.
I'm sorry, I'm spoiling this 20-year-old game for people.
Yeah,
Nah,
God was
it's-
amazing.
Yeah. Out of the series, it's probably my favourite, but out of just sheer impact and just, yeah, Red and Blue, just incredible. When you think, just how it was 95, I think, if I remember rightly, and Pokemon first was made. So, incredible game.
Awesome. Does anyone else have anything they want to say about the Game Boy before we move along? Shuffle.
Nah,
Be nice
shit.
for
Come on.
Nintendo to remember, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Well, I mean, how elaborate on that because they're doing some cool stuff for you Wii U owners out there. You're getting NES Remix and NES Remix 2. Like
Oh, you're getting 30-year-old games.
those are really cool, man. They're like retooled like challenge missions based in NES games. They look really awesome.
It looks.
I'm actually really jealous that they're only on Wii U.
Aren't they quite expensive?
I don't know. Fuck it. The Game Boy Advance games have been coming out now on the Virtual Console, so I'm quite tempted to pick up Golden Sun and Advance Wars, but
Oh
Loved
yeah,
Golden Sun.
I bought Golden Sun on DS actually.
I've got a
'Cause I love-
library of games just building up though, so I've got to be careful.
All right, cool. So yeah, Game Boy, 25 years old, fantastic thing.
Happy
Gianni.
birthday. Hello.
We moan a lot on this podcast about DLC and pricing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was informed that you've come up with a genius strategy, right, to fix DLC. So do you wanna pitch us your fix DLC strategy, and I'll tell you why it's wrong.
Well,
That's nice.
I really wish I'd written down the reasons why my thought process behind this because I can't actually remember. But so my idea was you have a pay what you like for all DLC. Now that's probably where you're going to shoot me down. The fact that I said all DLC, but I have it's something where most gamers hate it, but there must be a market in there somewhere. So people are actually buying stuff. And I'm just thinking, well, why not make it pay what you want? Because then you're you're telling the developer exactly how much it's worth. Maybe as a minimum transaction of say, I don't know, £1, $1, whatever. And then if you wanted to donate more, you could do. So a bit like a Kickstarter almost, but in reverse. Is that in reverse? No, because they'd pay you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
I know
think
what you
it's
mean, man.
Upside down, not into that.
So this idea, I'm assuming this idea has come from the success of like Humble Bundle and stuff, right?
Well, that wasn't really my thought process. I hadn't actually thought about that until now. But yeah, let's just go with that. We'll see how it goes.
I mean, that's what I put in the discussion, wasn't it? That's what I put in the topic, saying about comparing it to Humble Bundle, because that's what I thought you initially meant. But,
It wouldn't work, man, because the way DLC works, and I know, like, not a lot of people sort of get that DLC starts development before the game comes out, because, like, the first half of a game's development is, like, rigging the engine and stuff and doing all the art assets, but the art assets get done really early. Like, they're, like, some of the first things that get done, and then those artists have nothing to do then once the game's being programmed and stuff. So they then move on to work on art assets for like DLC and stuff like that. Otherwise, they would just get fired because they would have nothing to do for like months or years. So it wouldn't work doing a pay as much as you want thing because the overwhelming majority of people would pay the minimum they could. Right?
But
It would be like I mean, with Humble Bundle, I think the minimum is like one penny or something you can pay, which is like disgusting. I would never think to buy a Humble Bundle for that price, but people do, man, and they need to at least cover. They want to make a profit to start with, but they also need to cover the salaries of all the artists and stuff working on this DLC. So it has to be priced at something. I'm actually not against DLC, man. I really like it. I think it's a really good way of like sustaining a product long beyond when normally you would just leave it. But it has to be good quality DLC.
I was gonna say I couldn't off the top of my head. I can't think of one DLC that is actually worth the cost.
All of the Mass Effect DLC has all been good.
Could
Mass
we get
Effect
that
2,
from
Mass Effect 2 DLC in
someone
particular
who's
was
not
all
a fanboy?
fantastic. Uh,
Jamie and Johnny, have either of you played the DLC on Mass Effect?
I have to play the DLC because the game's not finished without it. That's the problem. I think the thing with DLC is if it's a game you love, then the DLC becomes an extension of that love and that game.
Yeah.
So a game like Mass Effect to me, yeah, the DLC becomes just as important as the main missions because the effort they put in to create those, it's phenomenal. Like every DLC, there's a DLC on Mass Effect 2 that had me bawling my eyes out. And it's so well
so the
written, and
Operation
so well played.
Overlord, yeah.
It's the Overlord one, yeah, and it's so well played out that I just couldn't believe it. It was better than some of the stuff in the campaign.
Yeah.
If it's just a case of what was I talking about last week, and it's just been released, the Snoop Dogg, and you're going to pay $3 just to have his voice over the top, that sort of stuff, you shouldn't be paying for that. That's a bit novelty, but and things like an extra skin color for the character suit, like you shouldn't be paying for stuff like that.
Well, I suppose that's where it's sort of maybe that's where my thought process was coming in from. So a bit like the hats in Team Fortress. Is that right?
Yeah.
So even though it's not a pay you want, it's just like it's quite a nominal fee, isn't it? Are they quite cheap? I really haven't played that game. I really should, don't they?
They're all sort of different prices and stuff, man. There's like a little economy that goes on with it. The difference being though is that Team Fortress is free to play, so like you, if you like that game enough to want to be different, then yeah, take part in the getting hats and stuff. But most of those hats are also developed and stuff and designed by people who play the game, and they get a cut of the profits from the sales. So that's why the community is so big, man.
But I don't know. I really wish I could remember what provoked that thought process because it had more weight to it than what I'm arguing right now. Well, I think it did.
Well, I had a random text from you last week, and I'd imagine it was around about you playing Football Manager. I don't know if there's any DLC on that.
Ah, right. That would make a bit of sense because the Football Manager. Okay.
It sounds like your brain's sort of like
Yeah. Okay.
scratching at this now, like you know what you want to say, so do it, Gianni.
Right. Okay. So on Football Manager, I had a bunch of injuries quite early on in the season, which was a bit weird. And then whenever a player got injured, I could hit this padlock, and it says the magic sponge. And what it does is it will wipe out all your injuries, but you have to pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. How much do you have to pay? Because this is the kind of stuff that I don't like. This kind of monetization that like basically tries to do what Facebook and mobile games do, but in a game that you've paid full retail for. Bravely Default is guilty of this, right? Because you can use a mode in Bravely Default called Bravely Second that allows you to stop time so the enemy can't attack you, and you can do a full round of you can do as many actions as you have SP points, which you get either by leaving the game in sleep mode for 8 hours to accumulate 1, or buying an SP potion from the store for real money. And it allows you to break the damage limit on the game as well. So when you use Bravely Second, which is the mode that activates, you can break the 9,999 damage cap. But why the fuck is the option there to buy that with real money? They say it's there to like help people who aren't that good at the game, but like let's be honest, it's there to take advantage of people that have just been trounced by a boss and are like really upset that they've wasted half an hour fighting a boss and they're just going to like rinse some money into that. It's like exploitative, man.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I haven't got. I mean, it's the same with like cheat cartridges and stuff like that. Like, I never bothered buying one, but some people did. I thought it was a waste of money myself. But I think, right, okay, ignoring going away a bit from the pay what you want on DLC.
All right, before you move on though, can we just agree that that's a fucking stupid idea and it should never happen?
Yeah. All right, that's fine. I think my other point was just going back with Football Manager and your example as well. The one thing that worries me about these pay to win modes is that how do you know, like Candy Crush, how do you know that you're not buying this game and that they're almost rigging it so that it makes you, it makes it even more infuriating, so you end up buying that?
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
That's constantly what goes through my mind when I hear about stuff like that. Especially now that you've said that you've got so many injuries and there's a way for you to buy out your injuries.
Yeah, how convenient.
The same thing. It's the exact same thing I thought about Dead Space 3, right?
Mm.
They added this new crafting system where you can send out a droid to get parts and then craft them up and stuff. But then they were also selling DLC that doubled the speed of your droids gathering and stuff like that. Which all that says to me is that they halved the speed of the droids gathering and stuff, and then bundled that shit out as DLC to make more money.
Mm.
Which just seems underhanded, man. It seems like you're ruining the product that you've put out there, like just for the sake of making a few extra dollars. I mean,
cutting your nose off to spite your face, basically.
yeah, I certainly wouldn't have bought those speed upgrades. I just wouldn't have bothered doing the upgrading and stuff, which means I wouldn't have been using the game the way they wanted me to, purely because they decided we want more money out of this than we get for selling it for full retail.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I love how this managed to become a DLC rant.
No, yeah.
That was the point, right?
I really wish I remember my point, but anyway, that was one of the points.
Can I, like, when we look at DLC then, you see some of these games, just want to get your opinion on this then. So, if you were a massive Need for Speed fan, but, like that's a really shit example, but it's also a good example in a case. But, like, they have those quick time things, don't they? They let you unlock all of the cars, all of the racetracks. I think Skate did it as well. Skate 3 let you unlock all of the...
I think Battlefield 4 does it as well, where you can just unlock all the guns and stuff if you pay.
See, this is where I was going to balance it off as well, though. I was going to say, when you look at a single-player game, is it a fun add-on? But then when you look at a multiplayer game, is that a real unfair advantage to those that are willing to pay money?
See, I don't think so, right? For a single-player game, first of all, why the fuck would you want to pay to unlock everything in a single-player game? You've just wasted... You paid extra money to ruin your own enjoyment of the game by unlocking it yourself, right? But for a multiplayer game, I can understand why that's there, right? And I know people that play multiplayer games a lot sort of hate the idea of it because they've played through themselves and like they've unlocked it all, and it's like a sense of accomplishment to them that may be slightly undermined by it being available for like a price. But imagine a scenario where you and a group of friends have been playing a game online for a long time. You're all pretty good. You've got everything unlocked and stuff. And one of your other friends, like, he's just bought his console and stuff. He's just got into gaming, and he wants to play online with you guys, but doesn't want to be a hindrance and stuff. He can then buy that pack, be straight up to date with you guys, and come play with you. And like, nobody's hurt by that, man. Like,
I'll give you an example actually. I think it was World of Warcraft. They've released some. Oh no, was it World of Warcraft? Anyway, one of the MMOs, you can now buy a full level character for like 60 quid or something stupid like that, which did come with a lot of backlash. But then they said it's for people who it's aimed at people who have got max characters and may want to do another one, so they don't have to go through the whole grind, but they can still enjoy the end part of the game.
And with MMOs, I think it's even more important. I think there should be a system there that allows you to do that, because with most MMOs, I'm finding it with Final Fantasy XIV a lot that like the meat of the game is at the end. Like, you've got like a story and stuff to like take you through the leveling process, but once you hit max level, that's where the sort of meat of the game begins. You know, that's where all the action's happening. It is basically just a grind, man, to get to that point, and then you can take part in the big raid content and stuff like that, which is the most exciting part of the game. But if you don't if you don't have all that time to spend leveling up, because you're probably talking like 20, 30 hours. So like best part of a month for somebody who plays games at a normal rate just to hit level 50 if that was the only game you were playing. Like not many people have that much time to invest into it, but they might still want to play with their friends that do have that much time. So the option to like buy your way past that, I think is fine, man. I can see why people don't like it though. I can see how people that have spent time grinding up and stuff might feel that sort of it invalidates their effort. But at the same time, whilst they've been grinding up all these levels and stuff, they've also been getting experience. So, like, not like experience to level up. I'm talking like in-game experience. Like, they know how to play the game and stuff, and they know how things work, which somebody who just sort of bought their way up wouldn't know. So they still have like they're still in a better position than somebody who had just bought their way up. I don't know. This is
something
carry on.
something I'm just like I'm unhappy with is the season passes now with with them DLCs. I think that needs to stop because you're sort of you're buying something, you're paying for something that you don't even know is going to be. Take Aliens. Was Alien
Colonial
the Alien
Marines?
game? Yeah, like that had a season pass, and like people would have bought that game and would have bought the season pass with it, played the game and realized it was terrible. And did they even release anything? Maybe a few maps for like the multiplayer, but I think that's where it gets dangerous. Is when a lot of these, a lot of the DLC is sort of planned even before the game's finished. They thought, right, we're going to release the game now, like on this date, and then bring out this DLC like a few months afterwards, and then it's all planned out. They don't really care if it's going to be any good or if it like adds anything to the story. We'll just do some maps and get people to buy it.
Man,
I know, like with The Last of Us, obviously they had one sort of story DLC which was pretty good, but then the rest was sort of multiplayer maps. So if you bought a season pass and didn't enjoy the multiplayer,
you're screwed.
Yeah,
mate. Right. I feel it completely. Like season passes for DLC blows my fucking mind because you're pre-ordering downloadable content,
which you don't. Most of the time, you don't even know what it's going to be. Like they say, oh, it's going to be 5 items within the next year. It could be just skins or something. Like,
all right. Before we sort of labour a point, there's only one thing that I was thinking about just now. Before we probably should move on, is I'd like to see a developer take something like BioShock, and I think they might actually be doing this with Infinite. Is maybe do you have a DLC that sort of runs parallel or dips in and out to the main game?
So kind of like a side story DLC that sort of runs concurrent with the main story.
Yeah, but episodic, whatever.
Yeah,
so a bit like they do it like The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. Wait, is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it dips in and out of the main story, and almost like you can't purchase it until you finish the game. So it encourages people to play through the main game. And then what that means is then if you have the season pass, for example, then they can create that side story whilst people have bought the game and playing through it, if that makes sense. So that would be, to me, if I enjoyed the game enough, I'd be willing to pay for the DLC side story because I'd be interested to continue it. But yeah, I don't know how that really works.
Sounds like a fun concept, man. Similar stuff happened with like Left 4 Dead, right? Between Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, there was an expansion, not an expansion, like a piece of DLC that came out that joined the two groups. So if you had Left 4 Dead 1 and Left 4 Dead 2, you could play a mission like that had both sets of survivors in it from each game, and it kind of like played into each other, like they intersected at a certain point, which I think is kind of cool. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. So like, even if you picked up the DLC like in 6 months' time, for example, and you're like, oh shit, I remember this part of the game, or I wondered what happened at that point, or what that character did, or who they were, something like that.
I want to move back to expansions, man. Why can't there just be expansions now? Everything's labeled DLC, but some DLC is so good it should just be called an expansion. Like the one that was released for XCOM recently, Enemy Within. That was fucking fantastic, man. You can't call that DLC.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I played that game. It was fucking awesome. It was like mech suits and shit. Oh my god.
They do
Like,
need
the
to be
new-
able to tear them apart, though. Yeah.
The new faction that they added, like the human faction, I can't remember what they're called. Their missions were kind of bland, but all the stuff that they added, like overall, was just fucking awesome, man. That's an example of really good DLC. Do more like that and less fucking horse armor. Is
But yeah,
the bottom
that's right.
line.
You're right though, because I don't like to say DLC when it comes to things like Fallout 3,
Yeah, man. Some of those
because it
some of
just
those
sounds
are
like
awesome.
it's nothingness. But if it is extended gameplay, it really should be an expansion, shouldn't it? Yeah,
Mhm.
call it that. Have it separate names. If you're just gonna tart up a skin, that's DLC.
Cool. So the
Like,
moral
I've been on the PlayStation Store and they just kill zone guns, like just with like little faces on them and
That's-
zebra print and stuff. What the fuck is that about, man?
stuff that would have been unlockable, man, before is now DLC. It's crazy.
Back in the day, yeah.
That's true.
Oh, the moral of the story is this. Gianni's initial idea for DLC was fucking terrible, but we did have a nice rant about it, so it's all good, man.
Yeah.
So that is all we really need to speak about there. Let's move on to Flash News.
And my God, there's a lot of it today. There's
Let's hear that Flash
absolutely
news.
Fucking tons of it. Right. So I'll try and whiz through it. You tell me if you want to talk about any of it. Right. Guess what's happening in 48 days from today?
What is
What?
happening in 48 days from today?
E3.
E3.
E3!
Countdown
Yes.
begins. Look, 6.5 weeks.
Get
so
to
that
do
will
predictions and shit. Yeah.
That's amazing.
we'll start. Yeah, we've got some filler coming up. Right. So that will run from June 10th to June 12th. I'm actually on holiday at the time, so we can do something. We can stay up all night again like we did last time.
Watch that shit live.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, we'll do that again. Reporting last week on how the PlayStation 4 had sold 7 million units. Microsoft did then go on record and say that they'd shipped 5 million Xbox One consoles. Now, obviously, shipped is a massive difference to selling.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon they've sold out of that? Probably about 4 million?
Yeah, 4.5 tops, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If,
So they're
yeah,
not quite at 5.
Yeah.
So, they're closer to half of what PlayStation have sold then at the moment. But, with that in mind, I don't know. I don't know if the next bit of news is going to have any impact then, but they've also revealed the release window for Japan. So they're going to look at releasing that in September.
Cool.
Which, yeah, because historically they don't do very well over there.
Well, the Xbox
but then-
360 really didn't do very well at all. Have they announced any Japan exclusive software?
Right, so there is actually, they're kind of teasing about it at the moment, but they said that there is one Japanese developer who will be working on a console exclusive game for them now. So we'll have to keep our eyes.
Definitely do keep your eyes on that, because you remember when that happened last time, we got Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, which are both really good games. So
Oh yeah, they were good.
Yeah, so we'll see that one, won't we? They're already talking about E3 and how they're currently overrunning their 90-minute slot for their presentation, so they're trying to move stuff around. They want to get
Duty.
a lot of the what? Sorry,
Call of Duty.
We'll just get Drake up on stage again to pretend to play FIFA. But they want to get a lot of the hardware stuff out of the way so they can just put games in your face for 90 minutes, learning from the mistakes, obviously.
Yeah.
Sports and TV, man.
I was going to say, I have a weird feeling that this one's all going to be about Connect. Because
Don't.
I think
honestly think it will be, because it's the only way they can justify the price, and now
Well,
they've got to sell it.
with the fact that Peter Molyneux went on record saying that the Kinect's a fucking joke, and there's no way they're not going to release a SKU without it soon. Like, they have to not focus on that, or give us a reason why it's worth being there, man. Either they focus on like games and don't show us a load of Kinect features, or they focus heavily on Kinect and like prove why it's worth being in the box.
They need to have a killer app, in fairness, on Connect at E3, and one that people are going to have to say wow rather than it turns my console on, because people are starting to wonder, why the hell am I paying £100 or whatever it is, 75 quid extra for it for an Xbox One?
There's the idea of Curiosity 2 now, that you keep chipping away at Molyneux's block until you find all the fucks he gives right in the middle. But bear in mind, right, that the Xbox One is now currently £349 with Titanfall as a download. So it's in line with the PlayStation 4 now.
But
Wow.
I have a feeling the PlayStation 4 will probably be cut price around September time. That's normally what would
I
happen.
actually don't think we're going to see a PS4 price drop for a while.
If they feel they
Certainly
need
not
to,
this year.
But no,
if they feel they need to, they can afford to, and then Microsoft are back at square one again. So, as far as I'm concerned. But without sounding like a fanboy, let's move on.
some more numbers quickly then. Last week I said that I'd try and find out about how many Disney Infinity, what's the word I'm looking for? Bundles?
Yeah.
The starter pack, yeah. So they've sold over 3 million at this point.
Jesus.
So Disney Interactive Studios were really in the shit, but this has put their profits up 600%. Where they stand right now.
It's ridiculous.
That Skylanders idea, man, it's profitable.
It's that $2
Nintendo-
billion idea, isn't it?
Wait, is there a reason why Nintendo haven't followed suit with Pokemon, or did you say they had and it was just a flop? Or
The Pokemon Rumble game on the DS didn't come with figures, but then when they did the Wii U version, they sold the figures exclusively at like
yeah, that's fair.
America
Yeah.
and then Game in the UK or something. But they were shocking. They were little things,
What
weren't
they should do is bring out a nice new version of Pokemon, right? That is designed to be like this, right? For the Wii U and for the 3DS, right? And release like trading figures where it's random. You buy them in random packs. They have to be reasonably priced. Probably about the same price that you would pay for a packet of Pokemon cards. And you get a random Pokemon figure in there, right? And then you use that Pokemon to like play the game. Like that, those Pokemon that you get in those packets would be the Pokemon that make up your team, and then kids can swap them with each other because they're quite cheap. They're like the price of Pokemon cards, so why wouldn't you swap them around?
Didn't
Like-
they have something like this, like a VR?
I don't know, but
card
like
reader or something.
that would fucking print money for them, man. It's obvious they would print money for them because Disney and fucking Activision are making tons of money off their licensed properties like that.
Or they just copy them and not be stupid about distribution. It's really not a difficult concept.
I don't know.
I
I like that idea that I just came up with. You can't have it, Nintendo, unless you pay me. Okay.
Oh no, but use their name.
they?
Oh.
One more big number one then. So Assassin's Creed. They're looking at how number 4 hasn't sold as well as number 3 did.
Oh no.
I don't know. That might just be where people are converting to a new piece of hardware. They didn't pick it up as a launch title. I don't know. It's sold.
Yeah.
They've sold over 73 million copies though across every game.
I was going to
Oh
say
my
they're
God.
not going to change it to every 6 months now, are they? Because I don't think the market. I think the market needs another Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, you need one now.
76 million.
73.
73 million. That's no joke, man. That's a lot of fucking games sold.
It's a lot of glitching out on a wall.
I didn't think
Isn't
that.
that-
I didn't think that series was that popular. I'm
but
actually quite impressed.
How many have been released? Is it 7? Are we up to 7?
What are we on now? No, 6 we've had.
6. Okay.
No,
Just
1, 2, 3 spin-offs, 3, 4.
Was it
3 spin-offs.
Yeah.
2 had 2
Revelations,
spin-offs.
Brotherhood? Yeah, it was just
You-
Revelations, Brotherhood.
I mean, if you include the Vita game, there are 7.
Okay.
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well,
Right, and the PSP game. Let's not
Let's
not forget that little gem.
Is that like
Yeah,
Blurred
no,
Lines?
I mean like core titles. Otherwise you're talking about mobile, and that doesn't count as far as I'm concerned.
None of
Well,
it
maybe
does.
it does. I don't know. But anyway,
Fuck it. We'll
it's
see.
just-
I'm looking
it's
forward
just-
to Unity.
so
I don't
good.
give a shit.
Me too.
I've
too.
pre-ordered my copy. I'm ready for it. My body
I think it's going to be good.
is French. Right. Last year when they did that Uncharted 4 teaser, and I was telling you about that voice, and it was a guy called Todd Stashwick.
Yeah.
What a name?
They've booted him out,
Oh.
and they've recast his position. So that voice you hear in that little teaser, he's no more. But now he's gone on to work with Visceral Games because he writes games as well, and he's working on an untitled Star Wars project. But what is going on at Naughty Dog? Because that's a lot of people out the door in the last couple of months. now.
Yeah, that's quite worrying.
Maybe
That's-
the money
Yeah.
thrown at last.
3 high-profile departures now, right?
Yeah.
In like a month and a half or something.
since like the end of February, they've had those big names go, yeah. And I mean, it shouldn't at this point. It shouldn't be worrying, you know. But we'll see. If anybody else goes, then fucking hell.
Yeah, but maybe they're thinking that they're going to stagnate a bit because, you know, what they're going to do, releasing up, there's going to be another Uncharted game. They've got The Last of Us HD coming out, but what else are they working on? Is there anything of note?
Maybe Naughty Dog finally pitched Uncharted, and everyone's like, "Fuck off, I'm gone."
No, I think it's going to be a lot more to do with the fact that there's so much pressure on them there at that studio now. I mean, is it Amy Hennig went first?
Amy Hennig, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was there's something wrong with that. I think she was fired, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know why. I don't even want to speculate why. But the other people that are leaving, I think, if you think about it, they're Sony's #1 studio. They are the flagship studio, which means the pressure there must be insane, man, to deliver something good.
Yeah, but
So-
maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's that they want to do something new, and now they know that Uncharted's a cash cow and
Last of Us.
Last of Us is turned out to be the same. I mean, there's already a fucking HD remix in the year, but yeah, it could well be that. I mean, a lot that happens historically at a lot of other studios where they've just gone, what else am I supposed to do here? I want to do something different.
Yeah,
rather
do you
than
know what? I
copy and
think
paste.
you're probably right, man. I think you are, because Sony will have said to them, like, look, Uncharted, Last of Us, these games print money, so we want more of these games, so keep making them. And the other people probably want to like work on other things, and at that studio they're tied to just those franchises now. So
It may even just be the engine. They may just go, right, well, we've got the engine's now done, so they might be going, well, why? Maybe we could do something else. And Sony will be like, well, no, you're using this one. You know, we're not going to give you the budget for a new engine. You've got this. Just use that.
yeah,
And they might think, well, we want to go do something else. We can't do, I don't know, a bit like Criterion when they decided they wanted to come out of racing games and go into something else. Remember that?
yeah, but they'd already made Black, and that blew my mind, man, when I found that out. So
Yeah. That was actually really good.
Podcast
Yeah.
gold, that.
Haven't they gone under since? I can't remember.
say what?
I said, have
They
they gone
were-
under since last year? I can't remember.
We'll have to have a
Someone
look
went
for
under.
next week. I'll have a
Yeah.
look.
But yeah,
You want
oh,
Flash News? Is that it? What's going on? What?
No, there's more.
there's more.
Oh, sweet.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that would have
I
been
don't
a
know.
beautiful segue.
What does Tales of Heart R mean to you people?
It means
that's
that
right.
there's going to be a fucking Vita Tales game coming to the West. Whoop whoop.
That's was it on 3DS or DS? Tales of Hearts.
PSP.
Tales of Hearts R is the Vita version.
Yeah, but it's
It was originally on the 3DS, I think.
okay. Yeah, original 3DS. So it's just a
Same as Tales of Innocence was originally 3DS, and they got Tales of Innocence R in
Yeah.
Japan as well, which I'm hoping we get as well if Tales of Hearts R does well. So you guys, if you like Tales games, please buy it, please.
I do.
Not mine.
Also buy Tales of Graces, not Tales of Graces, Tales of Xillia 2, which is coming out soon. So sorry, shamelessly selling my favourite series here.
That's
alright.
cool. I mean, like I said, I don't really know much about that one. I just wanted to see if you guys knew about it, and you do. That's fine. Yeah, the winter Western release. Good for you.
Never
Right,
gone.
just a little bit of movie and TV news then, because I think it's still important. Channing Tatum, right?
Yeah.
If you could cast him as a superhero, or just like somebody within like a comic book franchise, would it ever be Gambit? Because
Fuck
that
man.
looks like that's
No.
happening. It seems to be a done deal. It does seem to be that Channing Tatum's going to be playing Gambit in a proper spin-off.
That's a terrible idea. What the fuck is wrong with Fox, man?
We'll
Just-
see, won't we?
They need to hurry up and give X-Men and Spider-Man back to Marvel and stop fucking shit up. Ah, do you know, I used to hate Channing Tatum a lot
Until 21 Jump Street, right?
until 21 Jump Street happened, right? And then I watched, what was that other film he was in where he was like a pole dancer?
Was he in this?
Magic
Magic
Mike.
Mike, yeah. Those films were fucking awesome, man. Like, completely changed my mind about Channing Tatum as an actor. And now this is going to be awful just because it's an awful idea, and he'll get blamed for it being awful, even though he's
Yeah.
like clearly not the person who should be cast as Gambit.
I mean, this is the chance for him to be on the rise now. He really doesn't want to be tying his name to a project that's going to ruin him. This is his Catwoman.
Yeah, I agree. This is his Catwoman, man. For fuck's sake.
Sticking with that sort of thing, then there's going to be a Batman animated movie based around the game universe.
Yeah.
So it's going to revolve around the Suicide Squad. Now, not really a spoiler, but at the end of Arkham Origins, there's a scene where Amanda Waller, who leads the Suicide Squad, she throws that clipboard into Deathstroke for him to have a look at. So it's going to carry on from that moment. And if you watch Arrow, like I know Ben does, obviously we've seen a glimpse of them within the Arrow TV universe recently.
Watch series 2. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know, no spoilers then. But this film doesn't look too good, especially when there's a new one that's released on Blu-ray next month, and I caught it last week, and it's The Son of Batman,
yeah.
and I fucking loved it. I think it's a brilliant movie, and I don't think this one will stand a chance. It just doesn't look right. But yeah, if you like Batman and you like that sort of like Western trying to do an anime feel,
Why does
then
it have to be a
check out-
sequel to the worst game in the franchise that isn't on a handheld or PC?
I don't know.
Arkham Origins, I didn't even play it, right? So this is me being completely off. I could love it, but I've heard it's shit. It looks shit. Like why does it have to be a sequel to that? They could have done an original story in the Arkham universe, and I'd have probably loved it.
Right. The thing about Arkham Origins is it's not shit compared to a lot of games. It's shit compared to the other Batman games. That's the problem. It had to try and stand up to those two, didn't it? But no, never mind. We'll see. Keep an eye out for that. Obviously, we got the new game at the end of the year, and I'm looking forward to that one anyway.
Yeah, me
Good.
too. Oh my lord.
There's going to be a Flash Gordon reboot. Flash news today.
Why is that not the start of Flash News?
Fuck. I missed
Should
an
we
opportunity.
re-record
didn't
this
I?
whole bit?
Shit. There's also going to be a new entry in the Resident Evil series, and that's Paul W.S. Anderson just taking up the helm again.
Fuck off, Paul
which-
W.S. Anderson.
Which means more Mila Jovovich, because obviously that's his wife.
I
so she
realised
won't
that
go
his
away.
wife needs work, right? But he doesn't have to keep dragging fucking Resident Evil through the dirt to give it to her.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, because it's really going to tarnish the quality of the games that they've been releasing recently.
Easy.
That's-
Resident Evil 6 was the only piece of shit in the franchise, alright?
There's the other news. Look, PS4, that might be an exclusive. Keep an eye out for that one at E3. They're talking about Resi 7.
They did.
Oh.
Maybe being a PS4 exclusive then.
Well,
Looks like
hopefully it's survival horror and not that wank fest that I couldn't
Dead Space
finish.
3.
Hopefully
Yeah.
it's free, did you say?
No, I said Dead Space 3.
Oh,
Coming
God.
on PSN, is it?
Fucking Call of Duty third person. That's what Resident Evil 6 was. Just last two little bits then. Last week I was saying about watching Fargo, and I know nobody would have bothered to go watch it. Please go back and try and find it. Also, Orphan Black Season 2 starts this week. And the first season is one of the best TV shows ever made, ever shown on telly. And I can't wait. That's going to be on April 30th over here. It's just started in America.
I actually saw the trailer for it, man. Looks pretty
Go
interesting.
back and watch season 1 because it's fantastic. But really then, otherwise, the trailer watch, and if you want to talk about it, it's there to talk about. But Dragon Age Inquisition has had I'm trying to do the quote-unquote thing, but you can't see me, obviously, gameplay trailer. As
One of
we said about
those
last week,
trailers where they use in-game assets,
but call it
it's
gameplay.
cinematics and
Yeah.
stuff.
Fucking bastard.
You mean an
But no,
FMV?
I'm excited. And now we've got the release date over here for October 10th.
Yeah,
now I know
boy!
about
Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yes.
What was this for? Sorry?
That bit at the end, right, where the dude's like, whatever we were before, now we're the Inquisition. I was just like, oh my
yeah,
God, I'm ready!
No one expects the Dragon Age Inquisition should have been the headline.
Oh man.
And then that would have tied it up nicely. But there's an opportunity now with Witcher not being out till next year to try and take that market, because I'd imagine it's similar audiences. I enjoy both. If I had to pick, Witcher's going to win hands down. But the truth is now I've got a 3-4 month
So-
gap where I can play both.
Wait,
No,
which
The
one's got to
Witcher-
win hand down?
The Witcher will be way, way better than Dragon Age, just because it is
Dragon Age.
it is a Witcher game, man. Like, those guys know what they're doing. CD Projekt Red, man. Like, The Witcher 2 is one of the best games I've ever played. Like, such a good game. I don't think. I mean, it's less of a impact now that we've got quite a few games that are sort of adult orientated that are doing really well, sort of like the Walking Dead games and The Wolf Among Us and stuff like that. But as a game tooled for adults, it is the fucking Game of Thrones of the gaming scene, man. It is just the best, man. I love it.
Am I the only person in the world who doesn't like Dragon Age and actually despises it?
I like Dragon Age 1, didn't like 2.
I can't get into any of them.
Dragon
I'm the
Age
other way
2,
around.
Dragon Age 2 I finished twice, right? I did 2 playthroughs. It's enjoyable, but it's lazy. A lot of it's really lazy. Like, using the same dungeon over and over and over again, just changing out the enemies that are in there and stuff. That kind of stuff sucks, but between the two, I way prefer the first, just because how strategic it was.
Yeah.
Like, I played it zoomed out like it was Diablo, but, wow, I guess like it was Baldur's Gate would be closer. But yeah, really liked it. 2 was more like Mass Effect, I would say. Like, in the way
A lot of
it played,
corridors.
and in the interactions with characters and stuff like that, it was very Mass Effect with its conversation system.
Yeah.
It was a good game. I liked it. I still own
Yeah.
it.
The trailer still gives enough of a little, it's a little teaser, isn't it? Get you thirsty for it.
I was already thirsty for it, man. I'm just counting the days. I'm gonna love that shit.
Do it. It's gonna be amazing. Right, no, that's it though. That's the end of the
That's your flash news done.
fucking long ass podcast. Look,
How long did we run for, man?
it's about an hour
This is
20
good.
so far.
Hour 20. Jesus Christ, we need to finish. Gianni, hurry up.
Wait, one last thing then. So, year anniversary, we all missed it last week. What the
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a thing that happened.
That was a thing that happened. We missed our own anniversary.
Oh shit! I'm gonna shove something else in here at the end as well. In case you didn't see the gameplay footage for the new game from the producer of The Witcher, who left. It's basically Dark Souls. Check it out.
Sorry, what?
I think it's the producer of The Witcher 2. Like his new game that he's bringing out.
Okay.
It's basically Dark Souls. There's a trailer out for
Round
it.
by Flames.
I think that might be it. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Wait, no. That's the indie game that got
No.
shown at
Round
PAX.
by Flames is the major release one.
Yeah.
Okay, that it could be that then. There's a trailer out of fighting a boss in it anyway, and like the multiple different ways that you can tackle a boss, and how quickly you get your ass kicked if you don't fight properly and stuff.
And
Right,
that's how
that
you fight
game.
a giant crab.
Yeah. But yeah, that is a thing that looks alright. It doesn't look as smooth as Dark Souls, so I'm not really that interested. Anyway, let's end this shit, man, because we've been running way too long. Stuff coming up on the channel soon. We've got more of The Sims with Jamie, right?
As to Spagnoli. Yep.
Yeah, we've just recorded the 4th part. It's getting crazy now. Trying to control 4 people and just keep an eye on what's fucking going on. It's mental, but yeah, loving it. So I'm going to keep trying to put some of those up.
It's been gold so far, man. Like,
Yeah.
the endings
Really
have
good.
had me pretty much in tears laughing, man, whenever they happen. So keep that shit coming, man.
The commentary that you guys come out with is just fantastic. Anyway,
Definitely you will be seeing some Trials content from me this week. I know I said that last week, but I didn't know the game wasn't out until this Friday. So soon as that game
Can I
drops...
suggest you get some of that Rogue Legacy later on as well? Because obviously the only thing we've got is me playing 6 minutes and failing tragically.
Nobody wants to watch
Okay.
me fail repeatedly at Rogue Legacy, man.
I would love to see you fail repeatedly in Rogue Legacy.
Do a
All right, then
comparison.
maybe I'll put some Rogue Legacy stuff up as well then, if people want to see it. Cool. Sweet. So that is the end of our podcast. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Facebook at GSC Games. Follow us on Twitter at GSC_games. If you want to get in contact with any of us individually, our Twitter tags will be down in the description. And if you want to leave us a comment, we will get back to you straight away, hopefully, because we love that shit.
maybe.
Hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see everybody next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.